I found a whole stack of receivers and amplifiers at the dump, and this is one of them. This is a SONY TA-AX380. So I put them all on a shelf in the warehouse until I had time to repair them. That was about 10 years ago, and I'm finally getting to them. So this one, if I recall, it was, well, I think all of the amps were just dead. So let's see what we have here. Let's plug it in, and first see if we just get any signs of life at all. Oh! Red light comes on. I heard the speaker relay click in. All right, let's hook some speakers up. Let's see what we get. Make sure speakers are in. All right. Oh, getting hum. Okay, let's give it a signal. Go into the tuner input. Oh, that's promising. Oh. Okay, so we either have a bad connection or a bad component. Okay, so it's amplifying, but the front panel controls aren't working. Now, this is not a vintage amp. This is much more modern, probably late 90s, early 2000s. So I think there's this front panel is all like digital stuff. So I'm not sure what's wrong with this, but there's definitely a bad connection in there. So let's go see if we can find that first. Okay, I'm going to take my handy spudger here and start poking things. I'm hitting very gently here. Seems most sensitive in this area, but it's really hard to tell because it could be anywhere. Let's take a look at the bottom. Maybe we'll turn. Oh, that's interesting. I can't even turn it on and off now. It just stays on. All right, something's really wonky here. Oh, okay, so I can see some cracks in the solder around these components. And what are we looking at there? Oh, those are the connections for the power supply capacitors. Yeah, that could be having an effect. All right, let's resolder some of these joints that look kind of bad and unplug for this. So if in fact there was an issue with the power supply, that might explain why the front panel was being wonky. Not at the best angle here. Okay, let's see if that made any difference. Plug it back in, power on. Okay, clearly that was not it. Oh, but our front panel controls are working now. Got no left channel. Ah. Okay, that is encouraging. All right, looks like we're still looking for a bad connection somewhere. Definitely seems most sensitive up in this corner here. This is the connector that goes to the front panel. All right, I think that circuit board has to come out because there's a whole bunch of traces along here I cannot get to, and I feel like this is where the problem is. So I'm going to take this circuit board out so we can get a closer look at it. Now, can I do that without removing the heat sink? Because that's messy. I'm going to try to remove this circuit board and leave the outputs attached. Looks like the front panel has to come off for that. So our main board, oh, look at that. I believe we have our problem. All right, let me see if I can get you in here. Okay, so our front panel here has a set of pins from the main board. And look at this. Let's see. That whole header is really loose. All the way through. I believe that is our problem. I think if we resolder all these pins, we're going to be good to go. I'm going to take a close look at the other side of the connector. All right, these are showing some signs of bad connection too. Let me see if I can, how close I can get. So what we're looking at here, we're looking at this connection, and when I look at it with the magnifying glass, there's a little gray circle about halfway up that fillet of solder, and that would indicate that that solder joint was insufficiently soldered and has cracked. These others look okay, but I'm going to resolder all of these just in case, since this seems to be a stress point for this particular design. Take a look at these. These are completely disconnected. So it looks like when they manufactured this board, they did not have their wave solder machine dialed in, and there was an insufficient amount of solder deposited on some of these heavier components. And this is not an uncommon problem. These circuit boards, these are single-sided circuit boards, and they typically don't have through holes. So your solder connection to the board is purely the fillet around the component lead. Computers and most modern computer equipment have basically little copper rivets that go through each of the holes. So even if there's insufficient solder, there is usually a good connection. And they're also much more robust over time with respect to vibration. Okay, some of these don't look so hot either. Okay, let's put it back together and see if it works now. Okay, before we put all the screws back in, let's plug it in and see what happens. Haha. It's entirely dead. Okay, I'm hoping that some of those screws provided the ground plane, and that's why it's seemingly dead. All right, let's give that a try. Nope, we are completely dead. What did I do wrong? Okay, so we got power to there. There's a fuse here. This looks to be the transformer primary. No, our fuse is not blown. Okay, so our main power supply board is here, and it's pretty simple. Power comes in. Not sure what this is. A step-down transformer, I think, to provide power to the relay. So this is the signal to turn it on and off. So the signal to turn this on and off actually comes to this main board. So I must have made a mistake. I must have shorted something out somewhere that's preventing the control board from turning on the main board. All right, so let's open this up again and see what mistake we made. All right, I found the problem. When I was soldering these, I created a solder bridge. So let's take care of that now. There. Okay, hopefully that didn't burn any components out. It just kept the machine from coming on. All right, yeah, I can't believe I missed that. This is the connector that was our problem, and this is the connector that's really hard to get to go together. There, I think that's got it. All right, let's see what we have now. Ah, we have power. There we go. Got left and right channel. Our volume works. Equalizer controls work. All right, this looks good. All our front panel buttons work. I think we're fixed. This was a SONY TA-AX380. Bad solder connections.